everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn to Code with Anjali, and today we are going to start with a course for Java programming language. So I'll be covering Java core in this, where we will be doing the basics of programming in Java and the object-oriented programming concepts, right? So let's start with the very first lesson, where we will be discussing the features of Java and the concept of OOPS in detail. So first of all, we do Java because Java is a versatile language. You can do coding in many areas in this. I can make web applications, I can make desktop applications, mobile apps, and even we can do integrated programming or embedded programming in this, that is programming the chips and the devices using Java. So it is like used in so many fields that depends upon you in which area you go, but for any of the areas you need to learn the basics of Java properly, and that is what we are going to do in this course. So Java is a high level language because obviously it has words which matches with your normal language you speak, that's the English language, and it's easier to understand, easier to code, and it is machine independent. Now the languages which are termed as low level languages, they are machine dependent, like your binary language or your assembly language, because they differ as per the configuration of the system. But high level languages, they don't differ. If you're writing a program in Java, it's going to be same wherever in any part of the world you write Java. Java is going to remain Java. It won't change as per the change in the computer. So it's high level language. It is machine independent. Another very important advantage of Java is that it's highly portable. That is, if you write a Java code, it can work on any kind of machine, which is not that easy in other languages like C, C++, COBOL and all. But in Java, we write the program once and we can run it anywhere, and that is possible because two translators are used over here. So Java program is translated twice before actually getting the binary code. So your Java program goes to a translator called compiler, which generates the bytecode. That is an intermediate code which is generated as per a virtual machine, which is called Java virtual machine. So Java virtual machine is where we have your code created on the basis of a imaginary machine. That's why it's called virtual, but it is universal. Universal means it's same throughout all type of computers. So that is JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Now after getting that intermediate code, I will take that code to any other machine wherever I want to execute my program. There, this bytecode is interpreted. That means it is further translated into the binary code. Since the binary code is generated on the machine where it has to be executed, it definitely works over there because it's generated as per those standards. So that's why we say that Java is highly portable, right? So it's a highly portable language. Then it is robust. Robust means that it has the capability to work in the worst circumstances. So we have a thing called errors in program. So we get different type of errors in the program. There are like syntax error, logical error, and runtime errors. Syntax error is if you're not following the grammar of the language, like you're supposed to put semicolon somewhere, you're not putting it. And logical is that your calculations are wrong or your method of solving a problem is wrong, so that's logical. But if you perform an operation which is not allowed to be performed by the language, that is a runtime error or exception. And that causes your program to terminate in between. The program will abruptly end in between. So we don't want that to happen. So for that we have exception handling. So Java has a very strong exception handling technique. Then the major thing, that Java is an object-oriented programming. Although Java is a pure object-oriented programming, and the pure word deals with the concurrency of functions, which we are not going to cover in this particular course, but yes, we'll be doing it in advanced part. But right now we will be doing object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, your focus is on objects. So what is an object basically? Object is everything. Your laptop, your pen, your book, your phone, your table, your chair, you yourself, everything is an object, because everything in this world can be defined by certain features and certain operations which can be performed on that. So we define that an object is a runtime or real-time entity which has certain features and operations to be performed on those features. So it's a runtime entity which has certain features and operations to be performed on those features. Now, if you have to define an object in a programming environment, so we need to define a class. So a class is a general description of similar type of objects. So a class is a general description for similar type of objects. That is said to be a class. Okay, so object and class we have. Now, how do you define a class? You have to group. For example, I am taking laptop as a class. So what features we'll have? We'll have like which company's laptop it is, like which OS is this, how much is the hard disk, how much is the RAM, screen size. So these could be the features, and then you will be having operations like turn on, turn off, anything, increase volume, decrease volume, whatever operations you can perform. So those could be the operations. If I take book, so for a book we can have features like title, publisher, then cost, number of pages. Those could be the features. Operations could be read, buy, anything like that. So we can define everything in terms of objects. If I define human being, so human being, we have a name, we have weight, complexion, color of hair, color of eyes, and gender. And then we can have operations like sleep, awake, whatever. So you can make operations also. So everything in this world can be defined as objects, and we can have certain operations which we perform on them. So when actually in Java you're going to make a class, that term is called encapsulation. So encapsulation is basically wrapping up of data and functions, that is the methods which are going to work on that data, in a single unit called class. So wrapping up of data and function, that is methods, in a single unit called class is called encapsulation. So these are the major features of object orientedness, that is polymorphism, encapsulation and inheritance. So you would be doing polymorphism and inheritance later, but just to give an overview, polymorphism is when a single thing is used in more than one form. So a very simple example for that is plus sign. If in Java I write 8 plus 5, it's going to give me 13. But if I write hello plus world, it will give me hello world. That is, it will join the strings and will add the numbers. So same plus sign is used for different purposes. That's polymorphism. Inheritance is that you already define a class and you want to use that to create another one. For example, I make rectangle class which has length and breadth. Later on, I have to make cuboid which has length, breadth and height. So I don't have to redefine it from the very beginning. I can just use rectangle, add height to it, and I get cuboid. So that is inheritance. That is creating a new class using features of an existing class. So that helps us to reuse the code. So these are the basic features which you will be learning throughout, and we will be doing a number of programming examples to actually understand how programming works. And the environment we will be using for this would be BlueJ. There are many environments. You can use Eclipse, you can use NetBeans, you can use Visual Studio, you can use IntelliJ, any of them. But BlueJ is the simplest and the easiest interface to work with. So I'm starting with that, and later we will be shifting to other interfaces. So what you need to do is, before I have the next class, you just download JDK, that is Java Development Kit, and BlueJ and install it. Both are available for free on internet. So just search and install them, and then in the next video we will be actually coding in BlueJ. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.